This week on Follow the Money Radio, as the price of the world's top digital currency, Bitcoin, surges to new all-time highs and now trades above $7,000. One of the most common questions investors have is it too late to buy Bitcoin? As an early adopter of Bitcoin and other cryptocurrencies, I will provide my answer on today's podcast. And later, Christian financial advisor Mike Mitchell discusses the importance of understanding your own investment risk tolerance, and precious metals advisor Tom Cloud provides an important update for precious metals investors. All that and more lies straight ahead. Friends, my name is Jerry Robinson. I'm an economist and an investor with the heart of a teacher. So hop aboard, buckle up, because the train is departing the station. All right, friends, welcome to you all around the world. Welcome to Follow the Money Radio. Again, my name is Jerry Robinson. We're going to be talking today about Bitcoin. So excited about this topic. We've spent the last few podcasts talking about the stock market. You know, we've gone through some basic things on fundamental analysis, but I wanted to shift gears this week, and I want to talk about something a bit more unusual, and that is the state of cryptocurrency, and particularly Bitcoin, which is the world's top cryptocurrency. I want to talk about this because we get a large number of questions here. As you can imagine, we've been operating since 2010 on the internet, and over the years we have received many questions. It seems like most of the questions we're getting recently, I'm talking about over the last 3 to 4 months, really kind of revolve around Bitcoin. Many people see the price of Bitcoin soaring. In fact, if you look at 2017, we see the price of Bitcoin now well over $7,000 a piece. That's really quite astonishing when you consider that back in 2010, Bitcoin was trading for pennies, right? So you talk about a penny stock that exploded. Have you ever heard of a penny stock that went from pennies to $7,000 a share? Have you ever heard of such a nonsensical story? That's insane. Yet that is exactly what has happened to Bitcoin. And many people today say, well, gosh, if it went from pennies to $7,000 in just 6 years, will it do it again over the next several years? Or have we reached the end? Should I buy Bitcoin? That tends to be the big question that people are asking. Did I miss the boat? Is it too late? Well, today I want to kind of break down a few things about Bitcoin, and I want to kind of share my philosophy about it with you. I got to admit, I probably would not have bought Bitcoin early on because I was very suspicious about cryptocurrencies. Probably like most of you, I was very suspicious, and I still am very suspicious. I have not lost that at all. But I realized that I didn't have to bet the house on Bitcoin. I didn't have to mortgage my house or, take a huge gamble by putting all of my life savings into Bitcoin. Early on, here at Follow the Money, we decided that Bitcoin, after doing some research, we decided that Bitcoin and other cryptocurrencies really should be viewed as an investment asset class, really like a currency. Although the Commodities Futures and Trade Commission often calls it a commodity, nevertheless, it also functions mainly as a currency. And so we really looked at it and said, we can't really ignore this huge development that has happened in technology. So we went ahead and made it an investment asset class. And that was back in about 2012. And we began apportioning part of our capital to cryptocurrencies. And in the beginning, I stuck mainly with Bitcoin. This was back in about 2011, 2012. And I really probably would not have made the dive had it not been for a friend and actually a colleague and a guest on our program way back in 2011 that kind of nudged me off the cliff. And so I went ahead and got into some Bitcoin, and boy, have I been happy since. Of course, as you can imagine, seeing the price of Bitcoin up this year, 1,000%. 1,000% in 1 year. Now, that's year to date. So there's a lot of people who say, well, that sounds too good to be true, right? Or that can't last. Or what's going on? Is this a big bubble? Or should I buy? Well, listen, it's very, very common to think that. Anyone who missed out buying Bitcoin at these absurdly low levels years ago, I mean, even if you look back at last November, I mean, just 1 year ago today, Bitcoin was standing at about $695. That seems pretty cheap in hindsight. And as we look forward, we see that much of the demand for Bitcoin, we believe, still lies in the future. So despite this massive rise, and despite the fact that we see Bitcoin up 1,000% year to date, nevertheless, we believe here at Follow the Money that Bitcoin and other cryptocurrencies are still in the very early innings of what could be an unbelievable run. Now, if you are, and again, remember, I'm not a financial advisor, so I'm not going to give you advice and tell you that you should go buy some or you should, sell this and go buy it. I mean, you need to talk to a trusted financial advisor about what you should do in your own life. But I'll tell you what I've done. I've taken 5% of my overall assets and I have kept it exposed to cryptocurrencies, and not just Bitcoin. I've also focused on a few other cryptocurrencies. In fact, all of our members will soon have access to my full-blown cryptocurrency portfolio. Now, my cryptocurrency portfolio includes Bitcoin, of course. It also includes some of the other ones like Ethereum and Litecoin, which are two other major cryptocurrencies that we believe will also outperform in the future, like Bitcoin. But we also, in addition to those big and well-known and well-established cryptocurrencies, we also invest in what we call penny cryptos. Penny cryptos. If you've heard of penny stocks, you know that means that it's a stock that trades anywhere between one penny and $5, so that's typically a penny stock. Well, right now, there are a lot of cryptocurrencies that are trading at where Bitcoin was back in 2010, and they have lots of good news on the horizon as well. So what we do for our members is we not only provide them with our own insights on Bitcoin and cryptocurrencies on an ongoing basis, but we're also going to be providing them with a portfolio of some of those, especially for those who say, look, Bitcoin may go up to the moon, but I don't have $7,000 to invest in Bitcoin. Right? What if you're in that position? Well, if you're in that position, then penny cryptos make a lot of sense. You probably could find 20, 30, 40, or maybe even $100 to be able to put into one of these small penny cryptos, just like you would buy a penny stock. So if you're not opposed to penny stocks, then penny cryptos kind of make a lot of sense. So we are looking at many different cryptocurrencies and providing our members with updates on these. But there's a few things I want to say in regard to Bitcoin. First of all, is that as I mentioned, I didn't never buy Bitcoin until 2011 or 2012. I bought my first stock back in 1996, and I remember the giddiness I felt as I got into the stock market. I was nervous. I was scared. I didn't know if I was going to make any money. I didn't trade my first option until after the dot-com bubble, about 2001, 2002. That's when I started really kind of learning more about options and started using those. But as I mentioned, not just until 2011 did I start really investing in cryptocurrencies. And I don't really trade cryptocurrencies. I look for value. So I'm almost like a value investor when it comes to cryptocurrencies. I have a long game here. This is a marathon for me. I believe that many of these disruptive cryptocurrencies, which are rooted in something known as the blockchain, are going to be so disruptive as we go forward that not owning some of these could be very detrimental to my financial future. Therefore, I apportion some of my capital. But remember, I mentioned only 5%. Don't go hog wild with this stuff. I'm putting 5% into those cryptocurrencies that I think could go higher. Now, what's interesting is that if you look at the number of people who are actually invested in Bitcoin or any cryptocurrencies, you'll find that number is extremely low. There was a survey that was put out by Monex Global Investor Survey. It was the 23rd Monex Global Investor Survey conducted from May 29th to June 5th of 2017. And what it discovered is that retail investors, not big banks and institutional investors like the guys on Wall Street, but people like you and me, retail investors, they are still a tremendous minority. According to the report, only 3% of retail investors in the United States and Japan are actually investing in cryptocurrencies, which means that the demand is still very low. I remember when I went to buy Bitcoin back in 2011, 2012, how difficult that process was. It was extremely difficult, and it's become a little less cumbersome over the years. But for the average person, think about it. Ask yourself this question. How many people do I really know who own Bitcoin? Now think of this. What if you could turn on your computer, just like you go and log into your online brokerage account? Maybe you like to trade stocks, or maybe you have a 401k at work, or maybe you have an IRA that you log into at some brokerage account. What if you had the option to buy Bitcoin in that account? How much do you think it would affect that number of 3% currently? Do you think more people would probably get exposed to Bitcoin, considering that it's up 1,000% this year? I think so. And that is exactly what is coming. We are already seeing the thaw on Wall Street. As we look at Wall Street now, we see that the CME Group and the Chicago Board of Exchange, both of these massive exchanges for options and futures, these outfits have stated that by the end of the year, actually it's going to be the beginning of next year, both of them are going to establish an actual Bitcoin future. So you will be able to go to the world's largest future exchange if you're a bank, and you'll be able to buy futures on Bitcoin. Now, this is a big shift from where we had seen before. And for this reason, my bullishness has picked up a little bit on Bitcoin and other cryptocurrencies, because I did not expect Wall Street to embrace and adopt Bitcoin as quickly as they did. But just a few weeks ago, when the CME Group and the CBOE both confirmed their intentions to develop a Bitcoin futures market and to really service that, it was then and only then that the big banks could actually begin to take major stakes in Bitcoin. Because remember, big banks, they can't buy a bunch of Bitcoin if they don't have a way to hedge against that investment. They're not allowed to do that, or prudence dictates they shouldn't do that. But now that there is actually a liquid futures market for Bitcoin, allowing the big banks to go in and purchase Bitcoin and then turn around and hedge their holdings, this is going to change the game. So this is the first step in a long journey to Wall Street acceptance and embrace of Bitcoin, which will eventually mean that you'll be able to log into your Fidelity account or your E-Trade account. And in fact, this is already the case in Fidelity, where you can log in and buy Bitcoin. But it's coming to more. It's going to be more easier and more easier. You know, there's so many applications that cryptocurrencies could develop over time. So many different kind of customer-facing applications that are not currently in existence. So over time, this is going to become something much bigger. We are bullishly long on Bitcoin, and our bullishness is rooted in basic economics. Now think about this for a moment. If you've read my book, Bankruptcy of Our Nation, you know I talk about modern fiat currencies. Currencies kind of move through an evolution. Money is evolving, and it's continuing to evolve right in front of our eyes. First, in any kind of community or simple society, you have what? Commodity money, right? Somebody starts using shells, or they start using gold or silver. People start using real money to barter and exchange. Over time, lugging that stuff around, maybe you're using gold or silver, that becomes pretty heavy, especially if you're starting to kind of accumulate a lot. And so you got to find a goldsmith, right? So the goldsmith will hold the gold for you, and then he'll give you a receipt. And so you have receipt money. Oh, well, then after that, the government steps in and says, well, we need to regulate this, and they turn it into what is known as fiat money, and they're the ones who back up the money. Well, we are seeing the evolution of money now where Bitcoin is serving as a store of value and really acts as a digital fiat currency. But it comes with a lot of extra benefits. Therefore, as we look at Bitcoin and we see what it is, this evolution of money, how it makes things very simple. Think about it another way. If I want to get money, in fact, I did. Well, I did try to get some money to a minister that I help over in another part of the world, a Christian minister who has a fantastic work going on in another part of the world. I wanted to send him money. And I found it was extremely difficult. He was in a part of the world that was not really, kind of a third world country, and trying to help this guy was really tough. Well, had he had a Bitcoin address, which he could easily get in a third world country, I could have sent him money instantly. But because he didn't, I had to use the typical banking system. And this was arduous, and not just arduous, but it was expensive. So expensive to send money. Now, this is not sustainable as we go forward. There are things within the financial community that are ripe for disruption. And among them is sending money peer-to-peer, right? This is huge. So Bitcoin solves a lot of problems. I'm not here to give you all of the details about Bitcoin itself, but really to answer, should you buy? Well, let me answer that question now directly. I don't know who you are. I don't know what your situation is. But should you buy Bitcoin? Well, the answer really depends upon a few things. A, what is your purpose behind doing this? If you believe that Bitcoin will be around 20, 30, 40 years from now, and you believe that it's going to be bigger than it is now, then it behooves you to have some exposure to that. I have told all of our members from the very beginning that the most important thing for them to do is at least to have exposure to the process of purchasing cryptocurrencies. There's two websites that I use to purchase cryptocurrencies. The first one is actually there's three, but I'll just tell you about the two main ones that I use. Coinbase, which only sells three. They sell Bitcoin, they sell Litecoin, and they sell Ethereum. I own all three of those coins, have for a long time. So I go to Coinbase.com to buy those. I also own, as I mentioned, several penny cryptos, and I buy those through a website called Bittrex.com. Bittrex.com. And Bittrex.com allows me to get access to many of these, as I mentioned, penny cryptos that are often difficult to get access to. All of this is going to become simpler in the future, but right now, it's not so simple. Now, should you buy Bitcoin? Well, again, the answer goes back to what is your purpose? If you're just wanting to trade Bitcoin like you trade a stock, well, I guess you can do that. But my purpose is to buy Bitcoin and hold. Now, why am I holding Bitcoin? Why do I think that it will go up? Well, as I stated before, our bullishness is rooted in basic economics. Unlike modern fiat currencies like the US dollar, which can be printed willy-nilly, dropped from helicopters by the Federal Reserve at will, Bitcoin's total future supply is limited. It's limited. It's limited by design. In fact, there are only 21 million Bitcoins in existence forever. Right now, I think there's about 16.6 or 16.7 million that have actually been mined. We won't be till about 2100, the year 2100, before all 21 million will have been mined and be available in circulation. Because there's only 21 million, you simply have to do the math. Bitcoin has built an amazing brand. Here we are in 2017. Almost the entire world has at least heard the word. That's like the word Jeep, or the word Apple, or the word McDonald's, or the word IBM. It has established major brand identity around the world, and there's only 21 million of them. So if you are an investor on Wall Street, and you have a big pot of money that you want to go invest, how many Bitcoins do you want to buy? You want to buy one? You just want to buy one? No. If you're a big Wall Street firm, you're going to be like an elephant in the bathtub when you come. You're going to be buying a lot. The problem is that who is going to want to sell those to you? When you have such a limited supply of 21 million? What if 21 million people in the world want to buy one Bitcoin? Can they? They can, but that's it, and no more. What if 2.1 million people want to buy 10 Bitcoins apiece? Can they? Well, eventually they'll be able to, but that's it. No one else can come to the party. Do you start to see the problem here? Is that the limited supply is going to drive the price of Bitcoin up. That's exactly what we're seeing today. There are major players in the Bitcoin community who do not plan on selling their Bitcoin until it's worth 7 figures. Now, I fall into a camp who happen to believe that we will see Bitcoin reach 7 figures. And I've even told our member community that I see that happening within a decade, within 10 years. Why? Why would Bitcoin reach 7 figures in 10 years? It all has to do, there's nothing funny here. It's all supply and demand. If you have a limited supply, but you have an insatiable demand, you can create a tulip mania. You can create a South Sea bubble, right? You can create these bubbles that happen historically that go down in the history books. And I think Bitcoin, because of its novelty, because it's unique, because it's the first, because it has the brand awareness, because Wall Street likes it, because it has a liquid futures market, and because there's only 21 million of them, and there's a gush of money around the world, when we do have problems, you're going to see the value of Bitcoin go higher. Now, let's think about this just for a little bit more and think to ourselves that what happens if the dollar collapses? Is everyone going to rush to buy dollars? No. What's going to happen to the demand for Bitcoin? Well, people are learning over time that Bitcoin is outside of the financial system. And therefore, it's out of the long arm of the banking system. And so if you lose faith in the banking system, then you're looking for a replacement. Bitcoin provides that store of value. So whether you and I really understand Bitcoin fully, or whether you and I agree with the way Bitcoin is set up or the blockchain technology, or whether we agree that the future needs blockchain technology, what we cannot debate is that it is a limited supply and the demand has not even hit yet. We have not even seen the demand hit. People you know don't own it. People that you, and maybe you don't even own it. And most people don't know how to buy it. And there's no customer-facing apps to make it easy to use your Bitcoin. Let me throw in one more idea. It was mentioned not too long ago that there was, and this is a growing rumor that I've been hearing now for a while. I'm a long-time an Amazon.com investor, shareholder. And I've been hearing now for some time that Amazon is going to begin to accept Bitcoin. Now, I want you to think what would happen if Amazon.com, on one of their earnings calls, during one of their quarterly earnings, if they casually stated that they were going to add a new functionality because customer demand to accept Bitcoin on their site for purchases. What would happen to the price of Bitcoin? And think about this. How many other of Amazon's competitors would stand back and look at Amazon and say, what a bunch of dummies for accepting Bitcoin? You think they're going to? No, they're going to jump on. You think Walmart's going to stand by and watch Amazon start taking Bitcoin and they don't? You think Target or Costco or any of these other major competitors are going to say, well, we're not going to do that. Amazon's silly. No, they're going to chase after Amazon. So we're on the verge of mass acceptance. We're at the tipping point here with Bitcoin. Is it expensive? It's all relative. If it's going to be worth 7 figures at some point, $7,000 is a mere drop in the bucket. But the other thing to keep in mind too is, and I want to close with this, is that remember, just as Bitcoin could be worth 7 figures it could also lose its value. It could eventually go to zero, right? It could go down to a penny. So I'm not suggesting to you in this podcast that Bitcoin has to go up. I'm not saying that it even necessarily is something that you should buy. I'm suggesting that based upon the sheer economics and everything that I can see about Bitcoin, we have a very bright, although very likely bumpy, future ahead of us. Very volatile, expect major booms and busts, but I am accumulating Bitcoin on the busts because I expect a future major boom. Hey friends, Jerry Robinson here from Follow the Money. Are you ready to learn how to trade the financial markets? Or are you ready to take your current trading to the next level? I want to show you how to trade stocks, commodities, currencies, and options for consistent profits. If you're ready to learn, I'm ready to teach you. In fact, we have created a very powerful trading software and education system that provides you with entry and exit signals on every US-based ETF and stock. Our powerful system allows you to identify the current trend in any US-based ETF or stock with high probability entry and exit ideas. You can use our software on any device. And you'll also get access to ongoing live trading coaching videos. Whether you're a complete newbie to trading or whether you're an experienced trader, you'll love our live video coaching calls held every Tuesday and Friday morning during the live market hours. In addition to ongoing training through our videos, you'll also receive our best trading ideas every evening in our nightly trading report, in which you can log into our website and check out the latest uptrends and downtrends, along with many other high probability trading ideas generated by our system. A lot of people already know how to trade, but they just need a coach. They need someone to help them along. And if that's you, you have found, I believe, the right solution in our trading software and education system. And right now, we are running a very special deal for 7-day free trial for our entire trading system. Try out our system. See if it's right for you. Complete, unlimited, and unrestricted access to everything. Simply go to ftmdaily.com/pro and sign up. Choose either monthly or annual and get started today. ftmdaily.com/pro.